Welcome to VV5, where top news has hit the station. I'm Junior Vieira.
And I'm Victoria Vieira. In today's edition, we will be talking about the Space Shuttle Atlantis.
My interest in film began pretty young. I was probably about 8 years old. First time my parents got a high 8 camera. I'd create stories and I would make book-to-movie adaptations of my favorite books. I was attracted at an early age of the idea of distorting reality through films. I made my own television show for my family where we would report family news. I was able to get onto my elementary school morning show. I continued that throughout middle school. In high school, I signed up for my film class as my elective. My high school counselor told me that there was no room and that I would have to do a drawing class instead, which ended up being a blessing in disguise because drawing brought my interest in the art department in film. My specialty skill in art department is what got me an in the film industry. Nobody in film believes that you're a jack of all trades, so being able to have a specialty is really important. I was able to do scenic art, got me multiple jobs and connections through those jobs, which then opened the doors for many different films. I went to Columbia College in Hollywood. A teacher of mine put a recommendation in for me for a concept art job with a company called Impact Pictures that was created from the team that had made Resident Evil. The director of a web series called Project Sarah for Impact Pictures called me on board and asked me if I could do scenic art because she had put my name for concept art, and he said, "Can you paint various yoga mats to look like concrete texture?" And I had never done anything like that, but I said, yeah, of course. And I had one day to prepare myself before they came into my house with dropped off all this equipment for me to do. So what I did that night was I just went to Google. I Googled as much as I could about recreating textures, so I learned all the techniques I could and I put it to practice. The next day I showed up on set and I did the job and they liked it. Being able to perform on set and to have talent, it's very important, but being able to be personable and have good connections is maybe even more. I worked on many short films after that. I worked on feature films in the art department, and eventually I flew out my own crew to DC and we shot a documentary on immigration, which I'm still working on today.
E ele me deu livro do Ziraldo, fala das cores, e eu tenho esse livro até hoje, que era uma cor que ela não se encaixava em lugar algum. Ela não encaixava no verde da grama, nem no do azul do céu, nem no amarelo do ouro, nada disso. Era uma cor que não se vê muito, até o dia que essa cor se viu no arco-íris e ela viu que ela existia.
If I had to start all over again, I probably would do it all the same because I learned from my mistakes and it made me better in the end. But to save time, probably would have left film school after the second year. My parents really were adamant about me finishing the 4 years. I could have saved a lot of money not going to school those last 2 years and time. I would have been more careful about some of the projects I signed on for. I should have known my worth. I think the current state of filmmaking in the mainstream world today is ever-changing. There's new technology every day and there's a lot to keep up with. Best thing as a filmmaker that I can do for myself is to be able to read up on everything. It's wonderful to preserve what we had in the past, but also there's really no reason to fear the future. There's so many more options to get your work out there. In Your Eyes was a film that I worked on, produced and written by Joss Whedon in 2014, and that was released on Vimeo for $5. With the times changing, the technology growing, and the access for it, and the ability to post online and on social media to market, to self-market, this is the best day and age for independent filmmakers, for people who want to do it on their own and get their work out there. Our attention span of our audience is going down, and there's such a library of films to choose from that it gets harder to make your film stand out. But that really is where the passion comes to play. If your film has the creativity behind it, it can really stand on its own. People will still watch something that's entertaining, something that makes them laugh, cry, or scream, because that's the reason why people go to see films. Digital film is the safest and cheapest option for filmmaking, and it's going to be what becomes the new standard, the new mainstream. In order to make it as a filmmaker, you have to be somebody with a lot of passion for what you do. You have to be somebody who takes criticism well, who has a thick skin, who who's okay with working 12 to 18 hours because you're putting that first, sometimes over a family, because your family is going to be the people you work with, at least while you sign on to a film. Helps if you're personable, it helps if you're a good networker, a good people person. Have to be somebody who puts in the time, the hours, the sweat, the blood, the tears, and the story, and the love for the story that you're telling.
Hello everyone. It looks pretty cloudy and hot this week. Now let's check the highs and lows for this week.
This has been a VIEIRA Media Production.
And action.
Almost time for your meds.
Okay, well, we're almost done with this scene, so just give me a minute.
What was that? What was what? That! What was that?
Speaking of tests.
And whenever anybody has anything that they need to get done or do or ride or anything, I'm the miscellaneous cousin.
Oh, wow. Look at you all. So worried and frantic.
Never give up. Yeah, well, I'm not saying that you won't fit it in there. Alright, team, move on out. Before we get in trouble.
Denied.
Denied.
We're